So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. When we talk about powerful women in Africa, I mean strong, resourceful, affluent, self-made women. FOLORUNSHO ALAKIJA's name will certainly be found topping that list. 73-year-old mommy FOLORUNSHO ALAKIJA was born on the 15th of July 1951. She was born at Ikorodu in Lagos State. Her dad had 5 wives and 23 children. Her mother was the first wife. Mrs. FOLORUNSHO began her foundational education here in Nigeria, but at the age of 10, she relocated to the United Kingdom to further her studies. She began her climb to success as a banker. FOLORUNSHO ALAKIJA started as the executive secretary to the MD at First National Bank of Chicago, which later became Finbank and eventually FCMB. She grew to the head of corporate affairs department and then became the office assistant to the treasury department of the bank. Perhaps she didn't want a long-term career in banking, or should we say she just got bored of figures. FOLORUNSHO left banking and then proceeded to study fashion designing. She studied at the American College of London and the Central School of Fashion, and then she started a fashion label where the creme de la creme of society got their pieces. In fact, she was the personal designer of the wife of former president of Nigeria, Ibrahim Babangida. She remains the president and the lifelong trustee of the Fashion Designers Association of Nigeria. But before we proceed with that story, just a brief announcement. I'm sure by now many of you already know that our intensive, value-adding, unprecedented master course is up and running. Well, for those that do not know, we have an extensive program, a 5-module intensive course teaching the art of storytelling and overall tips and tricks to grow your YouTube channel. I divulged all the secrets and all the hacks and everything that I am applying to mine and what you can do differently or start doing entirely to witness an overall change. First, I want to say thank you and congratulations to everyone who has purchased the course. Now I have added good news for you. If you're part of our master course program or if you're aspiring to be part of it, in a bid to ensure that you get the change, the positive change that you very well look forward to, I will be adding a value service which wasn't part of the program anyways, but I have decided in the spirit of magnanimity that I will be taking my time to review your YouTube channel and give you one-on-one practical tips and analysis that is specific to your kind of content. 3 lucky people also who purchase the course will have an opportunity of meeting with me one-on-one where we can discuss your channel progression, growth, and just have that one-on-one personal interaction in a meeting with me, just you and I. So if you're part of this course already, do send me a mail with your YouTube link, and if you're not part of it, here is your chance and opportunity. The link to access this course will be down in the description box and pinned in the comment section, or you can simply send interested to nezemasterclass@gmail.com. So let's proceed. FOLORUNSHO ALAKIJA can be said to be a multifaceted woman, romancing banking, flirting with fashion designing, and doing all of it so well. But what made Mrs. FOLORUNSHO a billionaire and one of Forbes' favorite women is neither of these 2 careers. In May of 1993, Mrs. FOLORUNSHO, through one of her companies, Fanfa Nigeria Limited, applied to the federal government of Nigeria for an allocation of an OPL, an oil processing license, which will give her leave to explore for oil in a 617,000 acre land located offshore of Nigeria. In layman terms, she was allocated an oil block to drill for oil, and so they began drilling, and it wasn't so long when they struck oil. And after then, let us just say the rest is history. In addition to becoming an oil and gas giant, FOLORUNSHO ALAKIJA also has several stakes in many other sectors. Sectors such as real estate, digital business. She is the first female university chancellor in Nigeria, and she has been listed severally amongst Forbes' World's 100 most influential women. FOLORUNSHO ALAKIJA is power personified. She is the richest woman in Africa. Mrs. FOLORUNSHO ALAKIJA is a highly influential, very successful, good-looking, God-fearing, philanthropical woman. There are tons of things to love and appreciate about her. But what people found the most fascinating about her, what left people in awe of her, was not just her wealth, her power, or her influence. It was the way she still managed to stay humble and stay grounded in her husband and her marriage despite her power, wealth, and influence. FOLORUNSHO is married to Mr. Modupe ALAKIJA. They got married in 1976, 48 years ago, and they have 4 children together. 4 sons. In a highly patriarchal system like Nigeria, where it is an unwritten rule that the man must be superior to a woman in all ramifications, where it is alien for a woman to be obviously richer than her husband, where it is perceived that once a woman is more influential or financially affluent than her husband, then that marriage cannot last. That marriage cannot work. Where there are many of these kinds of suppositions and assumptions, it was indeed rare to see such beautiful, thriving, long-lasting marriage between Mrs. FOLORUNSHO, the richest woman in Africa, and her husband, who obviously is not as projected as she is. There were the definition, the real definition of couple goals. In one of her interviews, Mrs. FOLORUNSHO revealed that she still dotes on her husband like a teenager who just found love, describing him as her best friend, her biggest advisor and biggest supporter. She said that even though they work in the same office, she always ensured, or they always ensured, that they had 2 kisses every day, a minimum of 2, in the morning and at night. She revealed further, I still wash his underwear, until 6 years ago that he insisted that I should stop. I also prepare his special vegetable dish, do his manicure and pedicure regularly. I go to the airport to pick him whenever he's returning from foreign trips. It gives me joy whenever his friends praise my vegetable dish based on what my husband tells them. Guys, it was indeed relieving to see the whole narrative change. That narrative that successful women are incapable of keeping their homes. That narrative that the woman has to choose between her home or her career. She cannot have the both of them. It is impossible to have the both of them. It is only a man that can be a successful father and husband and a success at his place of work. But the woman has to make a choice. Mrs. FOLORUNSHO ALAKIJA was breaking all the barriers. We had no single inkling that a day like this will come when we would have to report such a thing about the marriage of the richest woman in Africa. A few days ago, very sadly, we got news about Mrs. FOLORUNSHO ALAKIJA's marriage being strained. The publication read, the richest woman in Nigeria, FOLORUNSHO ALAKIJA, and husband Modupe separate. After over 30 years of marital bliss, and just at the twilight of her marriage, former society matriarch turned minister of the gospel, FOLORUNSHO ALAKIJA, has suffered a devastating marital crisis. According to very reliable sources close to the will, the mother of 4, who is also Nigeria's wealthiest woman, has allegedly separated from her husband, Modupe. The businessman allegedly no longer spends cold nights in the arms of his wife on their matrimonial bed in their highbrow Ikoyi, Lagos home. The couple were alleged to have been having frequent squabbles, which allegedly necessitated the wealthy woman to demand utmost privacy in her home. He was forced to seek accommodation elsewhere. He allegedly lives alone within the same Ikoyi neighborhood. Calls and text messages to him seeking clarification went unanswered. Sources reveal that it has not all been smooth sailing for the couple these past few years, and they have allegedly been forced to put up a united front because of their status in society. This latest development is coming barely 5 months after the Will exclusively reported that the former fashion designer and founder of Famfa Oil Limited, an oil and gas exploration business, has allegedly been battling some health challenges, particularly with her eyes. And when we got this news, when we read this publication, we were like, how? They got married in 1976, and going by that calculation, the marriage is not 30 years as this publication said. That marriage is pushing 50 years. That is 48 whole years of being husband and wife. People wondered, what could the problem be? How bad could it have been that it couldn't have been managed after almost 50 years together? Is it that there are new issues, or these issues have been existing and they have been managing it all through the marriage, and now at old age they decide to split? They were like, what could ever be the problem? What do women bring to the table? What do women bring to the table? Here we have a woman who not only owns the table, but owns the carpenter who builds the table, and yet we are hearing marriage crash. How do we explain this? And before we knew it, several assumptions started flying around. Some people believe that it might be infidelity on the part of the man. They rumored that since Mrs. FOLORUNSHO ALAKIJA lived a very busy life, it is possible that the man was used to keeping mistresses and side chicks everywhere, and now that she's getting retired and being more at home, seeing a lot more of these activities, she couldn't get herself to stomach it. While some others were like, you see what we're saying? When we tell you guys that money intoxicates women, when a woman starts making a lot more money than her husband, she begins to see the husband as dispensable, and it always ends up in divorce. There were lots of speculations moving around, and at this point I would like to hear from you. What do you think could be the problem? Why Mrs. FOLORUNSHO ALAKIJA and her husband of almost 50 years, grandparents, will choose to call it quits at this stage of their lives, when they are supposed to be living out the rest of their lives in harmony and enjoying old age together? Now, what is causing the major buzz, the major debate on social media, is not even the cause of the alleged divorce. What is raising plenty of arguments now is the argument whether it is proper or not for people who have been married for this long to have a divorce. Is there any reason, any justification, any permissible excuse at all that exists on the surface of this earth why people who have lived together for up to 50 years should choose to go their separate ways, especially when violence is not in question? And on this we have two sets of thoughts. The first set of people believe that they would never find any justification. As long as there was no violence, they would never ever find any reason to excuse grandparents. Mrs. FOLORUNSHO is 73 and her husband is a lot much older, possibly up to 80. They believe that they will never find any reason, no justification at all, for people of this age and stage of life to have a divorce. Whatever it is can be managed. How many more years do they have to be on earth that they want to start going through the whole process of divorce? At this critical stage where all the children are grown and have faced their families and they're alone, they're privileged enough to have themselves together in old age, and instead of them to enjoy their company and live out the rest of their life in peace and harmony, they are talking about divorce at the age of 80. To this set of people, that is 100% unacceptable. And whatever the issue is, these two should come together and resolve it. Imagine explaining to their grandchildren that grandma and grandpa are getting a divorce at this age. To this set of people, it will never make sense to them. But for the other set of people, that begged to differ. They were like, as one gets older, the quality we attach on some things, especially material things, begin to dwindle, and we begin to place a lot of value on some abstract things that we look down on as younger people. Peace of mind, happiness, a conducive environment, respect, understanding. They were like, anything and anyone that will compromise these things should be removed. And flung out of the window. So if Mrs. FOLORUNSHO ALAKIJA believes that her husband at this old age is not being a source of joy and peace to her, rather making the house hot, rather disrespecting her to her face, rather causing her pain, rather bringing her humiliation, it is best for her to leave the marriage, as it is never too late to be on the pursuit of happiness. And so we had this argument going on from the two camps, and here I am bringing it before us. What do you think about these assertions? Do you think in all sincerity that they should have managed their differences regardless of whatever it is? They have come way too far to be involved and meddled in this kind of thing. Or do you believe in all sincerity of heart that it is never too late to liberate oneself from an ugly, nerve-wracking and unhealthy situation? Do drop your thoughts about this development down in the comment section. Well, I do hope that whatever it is, that is, if there is anything at all, if this is not just one of those media rumors, I do hope that whatever it is, that Mommy FOLORUNSHO and her dear husband of almost 50 years come to an amicable ground to resolve their differences. Our eyes will be open on that space, and if anything comes up, be sure that I will keep you updated. So guys, yes, we are done with today's video. If you're new here, see me for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop all your comments down in the comment section, and stay glued because we have so much more coming your way. Don't also forget that our master course, oh my god, those that have begun taking it are dropping their wonderful reviews already. Life-changing, game-changing master course that will revamp your whole creation game and revamp you as a person. Be reminded to click on the links either pinned in the comment section or right in the description box, or send us a mail to nezemasterclass@gmail.com with the word interested, and we would reach out to you. Thank you so much guys once again. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.